And continuing with Domitian, Suetonius' version. Expeditions partly took up spontaneously, it means without provocation, and part when it was necessary. So there was twofold types of expeditions. These are military expeditions, and the one towards the Chatos was not necessary, so it was spontaneous. It is a similar word, but it's not actually what it means. So uncalled for is what they say in the Loeb. And the one towards these people, the smartest people, was a necessary one. When a legion with its legate at the same time had been slaughtered, so a necessary military expedition was when his legion had been destroyed. And he did too towards the Dacos, whatever they are in English, the Dacians. The first is when Oppius Sabinus, the consul, had been oppressoed, he'd been destroyed or beaten. And the second with Cornelius Fusco, the prefect of the Praetorian cohort, to whom the utmost or the highest command of the war had been commissioned to him. De Chatis Darcusque, concerning the Chatai and the Dacians, after various battles, post varia prolium, he exited or conducted a double triumph. And Tacitus in the Agricola says it was an unjustified triumph over the Germans and Dacians, and it was a laughing stock. Anyway, concerning the Samaritans, whoever they were, only a laurel wreath he retooled it or took to Capitoline Jove. A bellum civil, again, bellum is a neuter, so we have the E for civil. It was moved or activated or was forced upon by Elantius. So Antius was the cause of this civil war. He was praeside, he was in charge of Superior Germany, Upper Germany. And this was done, it's like Domitian must have been absent. There was a mirror felicite, so there was a marvellous bit of felicitatiousness, of good luck, when in the hour of demarcation, in the hour of the fighting, suddenly the Rhine, which is a river, it became resolutus, so the ice must have dissolved, and it inhibited, it stopped the barbarian forces, the forces of the barbarians, in transiturity, making their transit over to Antonius, who was this guy here, L. Antonius. De qua Victoria, concerning which victory, Priusquam, prior to him discovering it by Nuntius, by messengers, okay, so he must have learned it by presage, which is some sort of superstitious thing. Omens, they say. Okay, so he had some supernatural encounter here. See quid implicate that as since on that day itself of the battle, the Demarcatum, the statue of his at Rome, a statuum eius Roma, there was an aquila, which is an eagle, circumplexed, these insignia, it with its wings, its pinnace. So it looks like an ominous, with presage, sort of eagle sat on his statue and wrapped its rings around him, and it produced very happy clangors, very happy noises. Paulo Post, a little bit afterwards, Vulgatum est, the achism of Antonius. It's like the slaughter of Antony was adio ut, to correlative. It was so vulgatum, so widespread to such an extent that, adio ut, that his head carried pleriqui. So a lot of people contended to have seen his head carried to. That means to somewhere. It's probably to Rome. What are we up to? 7. Molt etiam. This would be new to plural. So many things even in common use, in common habits of things, a common way of doing things, he was known for. So he made some change in the common habits. Sportulus, these little baskets of food. Publicus, so public gratitudes, or whatever you want to call it, of food. He sustulit, so he suspended them. And he revoked, he called back with his habit of rectarum canarum. It's the right way of dining, so it's some sort of feastings, or the habits people had of big dinners maybe. Duas circensibus. So in the circuses there was two factions that he added. Gregum, it's also Grecum in another version, to the four pristine ones. So there was four types of factions of these people in the circus before, and these races. So there's gold, orate, and purple penai. These are, it's like a patchwork amount of clothing, I think penises are. Okay, so he's added two new groups into the circus, and he added this to the four that there were, and there was gold and purple. Interdixit. He forbid to actors the stage, so he forbade them to go onto the stage, but inside the houses, indeed, with this right consist of exercising their art. So they could do it in private homes. Like this was formal dinners. This Domomir is private homes. He forbid mares, which is males, to be castrated, castrari. Spadonum, of the people who had been spaded and neutered, the eunuchs, the residual ones, the leftover ones, amongst the mangones, amongst the slave dealers. So any slaves that were still left, he moderated the price. Once upon a time, or once on one occasion, to the sumem ubitatem, so it's very uberous, it's very a blessed amount of fruitfulness, you might want to say, of the vines. So on one occasion when there was an extreme amount of fertileness of the fruit, but there were, of the frumenti, of the grain, there was an enopia, there was a lack of, you're now present participating. He was thinking that Nimio Studio, with so much amount of zeal for the vineries of making wine, the arbors, the fields, had been neglected. So he made an edict that not anyone novelleret in Italia. So you shouldn't plant any more new vines in Italy. And what have we got here? In the provinces, the vineta, vines should be cut down, sacutarentord. And we're all left dimidia parte. Dimidia parte means half of. So in the provinces, a lot of vines were cut down, and dimidia means it was like half of them could be left there, and no new ones in Italy. So that's what's going on. Nec exequi rem perseverat. So we didn't persevere to exequi, to follow up the matter. So we didn't actually track down and make sure these vineyards were shut down. But quaedam, amount is certain from the maximum officers, so the highest offers amongst the libertinos, amongst the freedmen and the Roman knights, he communicated them. He opened these high offices, which are normally to the Senate, I guess, to freedmen and Roman knights. Okay, so today's dictionary word is novelleret. From novello to plant nurseries. See if there's anything else in it. No, just the plant nurseries. Imperfect subjunctive. And back to the plot. He prohibited the camps of double legions, so you couldn't have a camp with 2 legions, nor more than 1,000, nor more than 1,000 nomos, these are coins of probably sesterces, by a single person, by a quoquam, to be deposited to the signa. That would be a place. It's not a standard. What have we got here? The soldiers deposited the surplus money with the general for safekeeping until the end of their term of service. Okay, righto. Sounds fair. Quad, which will because Antonius, the guy we saw before, put the Hiberna, the winter camp of 2 legions, split with a double genitive. He had been mollying, striving for nova res, which literally means new things. It's a word they use for revolutions, to have taken the fiduciam. So he wanted to take all these monies that had been deposited, even from the summa of depositorums, it seemed. Okay, so he was thinking the reasons for making this change was if they had 2 camps together and there'd been a lot of money there, and so that's what had helped him want to cause that revolution from such deposits. He added also a quartum stipendium of the soldiers. Stipendiums, their payments, so he increased it by a quarter to turnos aureos. It's an additional 3 aureos, which is their big gold coin. So he raised it from 9 to 12 aurii, and the aureus was 100 sestertii, and that nomos there was sestertii. Next chapter, 8. Jus diligenta in industria dixit. So he spoke the law, which means he was in charge of the law courts diligently and purposefully. He held court. Plerum qui was in the forum, generally in the forum. Pro the tribunal, means in front of the tribunal, out of the extraordinary. So it was not in the ordinary sittings of court, so they're special sentences. He rescinded sententias. This is like the rulings of centum virum, that's the 100 judges. So they were ambitious, so he was trying to keep them down by rescinding some of their decisions. Almost done. Reciprators, there's people judging whether people should be set free, that they should not accommodate perfusorius assertations. So it's an overflowing amount of assertations. Basically means don't set people free who are lying. Basically, they've soaked or overspread their what they're pleading. He admonished identitam in the same sort of thing. Judges. So he's notivated here. He's noted judges. Looks like money with theirs. So any judges with their people, anyone who was getting bribed, it looks like. So any of these we've got junior judges written in the lobe. So he's rooting out a bit of corruption basically, and that's it for the day.